Good evening, everyone. Peter is away tonight. A kayaking adventure off the British Columbia coast can be an exhilarating thrill, but the most experienced kayakers will tell you danger is never far away. The weather can turn, the water can churn, and when that happens, lives are on the line. That is what happened this weekend in Howe Sound, BC. A group of adventurers headed out onto stormy waters, and not everyone made it safely back to shore. Chris Brown reports.
What began as an endurance test on the open water ended with 2 people dead and 2 others who barely made it back to shore alive. The plan was for 8 extremely fit friends to kayak the blustery waters of Howe Sound, run up a mountain and kayak back, the first leg of an extreme triathlon. Bob Faulkner was in the lead kayak.
So we headed out into extremely high seas. And when I say extremely, I'm talking about 7-foot swells and 85, 84 km/h winds. Shouldn't have gone there.
Hang left here, Beatty.
In the rear kayak was Denis Fontaine and his partner Cheryl Beatty. They were profiled a year ago in a CBC item on extreme sports. In the gusty winds, their kayak flipped. Faulkner and the others immediately attempted a rescue.
And fought our way back to the boat. Took about 20 minutes of hard paddling to get back to their boat, although they were only 200 or 300 meters behind us. And we found Denis on top of, lying on top of his submerged kayak, holding on.
Faulkner says a hypothermic Fontaine was able to get into another kayak, but with 3 people on board, that craft flipped.
So Richard and Denis and Graham made a conscious decision to swim for it. In retrospect, it was probably the right decision, because staying there, they would have all froze to death.
Yet for 2 of the 3, the cold water was simply too much. Denis Fontaine and Richard Jurin didn't make it. A 3rd man did, as did Cheryl Beatty, who miraculously spent at least 30 minutes in frightfully cold water and survived.
I just can't imagine what it would have been like for those guys.
Today, friends were overcome with emotion, recalling how Fontaine pushed life to the edge.
His passion would overcome his ability to maybe assess a risk.
There's always other people that get into trouble like this, not us, you know. We're big tough guys, you know. We do this all the time. How could we get into trouble like this? And it just shows you that it can happen to anybody.
There will be a lot of second guessing about this trip. The winds were already blowing hard as the adventurers left shore. Because they were also running and cycling between kayak trips, no one was wearing a life jacket. Chris Brown, CBC News, Vancouver.